This is Witch-based news for Friday the 24th of July 2026. I'm Commander Buur. In Elite Dangerous news this week, Colonia signals a call for aid, and this time you actually have to show up in Colonia. There's a fully 3D printed Starship with real moving parts. We have a stunning visualization showing how fast we're colonising the galaxy, and more. If you enjoy our videos, please consider subscribing and ding the notification bell so that you never miss an update or community post. And if you'd like to help directly support our work, you can also join us on Patreon. Links to that and everything else are in the description below. Just a heads up before we crack on this week, back in March Frontier announced that they would be changing the default version of the client that is installed when the game is purchased through the Epic Store. Up until this week, for reasons best known to Frontier, the Epic Store client has apparently been downloading the much older, non-Odyssey-fied Horizons era or Legacy version of Elite Dangerous to give it its official title. The Legacy client doesn't include any of the new ships or any of the narrative updates, community goals or changes to the galaxy or gameplay that have arrived since the explosion in HIP 22460 when Salvation tried and failed to kill all the Thargoids around 4 years ago. Frontier have made it clear that most players using Epic are on the live build, but a dogged few remain who may not even be aware that they're not using the live client. The change to those players' client download has now happened auto-magically, but in order to continue using their existing commander and built up assets etc, those players will need to visit the online commander transfer portal that FDEV have created to move their save over. If you're using the Epic launcher and you're seeing new ships and story etc, then you're completely unaffected by this change. If you're on Epic, have suddenly had a new client installed and are now wondering where all your stuff has gone, it is waiting for you, and you'll find a link to the transfer portal in the description below to get you started, together with the official forum post and transfer FAQ from Frontier should you have any questions. The ever creative Elite Dangerous community is no stranger to 3D printed models of its favourite ships, vessels, SRVs and objects. Attend just about any Elite Dangerous themed public event and you'll likely find a table featuring nothing but, in fact. So numerous are they that they're not often something that is generally featured on Elite themed social media or news feeds etc, but every now and then there is a standout piece that absolutely has to be shared. In the past we've seen gigantic models of fleet carriers with lights and sound built in, as well as huge models of Imperial interdictors and everything in between and all around, but what has appeared on the Elite Dangerous subreddit recently is definitely worthy of highlighting. Models of the newer Elite Dangerous ships are the new hotness, but how about a painted and lit 3D model that also features moving surfaces that are activated by remote control? That is what subredditor Secret Hot 8057 has recently completed in the shape of a Zorgon Peterson Caspian Explorer. And yes, upon command from a remote control, the fully lit and painted Caspian can retract or extend its engine nacelles in exactly the same way as it does in the game. Whilst there isn't a video we could find of the full completed model in action, there is a video of the mechanism working and still images of the completed model. It is however no less impressive a 3D printed engineering feat for it. If you're anything like me, you're now anxiously awaiting an equally clever piece of 3D printed engineering to fire a Nomad SLV out of the bottom of it. You'll find a link to the Reddit post detailing the animated and LED lit 3D printed Caspian in the description below this video. The latest community goal, which was initiated to gather the materials for the anniversary bash in Colonia and what the organisers are calling a mega market in the region, finished on Thursday this week. The goal only ran for 1 week, and despite contributions from just shy of 13,000 commanders, it reached just 32% of the colossal 350 million units of cargo that were the original target for the goal. The 3 megaships tasked with carrying what equates to a gigantic Uber Eats delivery order for the region are, I'm assuming, pan-dimensional TARDIS-like boxes with engines duct taped to the blunt end. So huge is the delivery, regardless of the initial target, that is now heading their way. A Galnet news piece this week heralding the completion of the effort described the goal as a partial success, stating that the response from the Corps was appreciated despite not meeting the full ticket. The piece does further add that the ever grateful Council is expected to issue a further call to help unload the megaships upon their arrival sometime in the next week. There can be no doubt then that is an incoming community goal in the Colonia region. If you want to participate and you're not in Colonia already, then travel to and from the 22,000 light year distant outpost region isn't quite as horrific as it used to be. There is a semi-regular fleet carrier shuttle service to and from the bubble, which can be accessed through the Fleet Carrier Owners Club Discord server, which is linked below. You can also make the trip yourself if you have a spare 90 minutes or so and a suitably equipped Caspian Explorer by utilising a bit of routing through a Neutron star boosted superhighway. The website Spansh can more than ably assist you with that. Again, that is linked in the description below. We've spoken many times on this channel about the vastness of the Elite Dangerous 1-to-1 scale galaxy. The short version, in case you're new to this stuff or just missed the memo, is that there are some 400 billion stars held within it, all scientifically simulated with, where appropriate, their own systems of equally scientifically simulated 1-to-1 scale planets, a large proportion of which you can land on. This isn't a case of some maths being let off the leash before backing up a truck and tipping out an absolute shed ton of planet and star-like objects until it reaches some theoretically mad high number. The stellar forge the game uses takes account of chemical compositions and star clusters, mass distribution, stellar ages and things like gravity. It even uses, where available, real world stellar cartographic data. Such is the large swing that it takes at its accuracy. All of this noble science is of course fantastic, but in the context of a video game it'll only carry you so far. Yes, Elite Dangerous is a simulation of a galaxy, but that galaxy is but a framework that has to hold the activities that its many inhabiting commanders indulge in, whilst simultaneously drinking in its majestic galactic beauty. As we know, those activities can encompass PvP, BGS, power play, trading, bounty hunting, mining, exploring and more recently colonisation. And whilst all of these activities shape and colour the Elite Dangerous galaxy in their own way, it's those last two entries in particular, exploration and colonisation, that can sometimes be harder to visualise in the game, ironically despite the huge scale of the changes they are affecting. Fortunately, one of the biggest side effects of all this activity is the production of vast quantities of data that can be siphoned off and interpreted or used in all sorts of interesting ways by the game's player base. One such consumer of those vast swathes of data is Commander Precambrian Mollusc, who is using it to visualise a number of things in some videos on YouTube. Most notably and most recently are what Mollusc are calling their bubble updates, which show not only the length and breadth of human expeditions and exploration in the galaxy, but also the density and vast distances being covered by colonisation since the launch of the Trailblazers update, which, if you can believe it, was already a year and a half ago. Interestingly, the latest edition of the video, which you'll find linked in the description below, starts by giving some all-important context on life in and around the bubble and Colonia before colonisation landed, showing the length and breadth of structures and outposts that have been laid down by Frontier themselves in the years preceding Trailblazers, including things like the Colonia Bridge. It then goes on to show the extent of known and explored Thargoid space around the Pleiades Nebula, some 400 light years from the centre of the bubble, as well as Guardian sites extending out from the Vela Dark Nebula, some 1100 or so light years from Sol. But it's the aforementioned density and extent of Trailblazer's colonisation that is the true jaw-dropper in all of this. Immediately after the update dropped, you can see the bubble exploding outward and inward as every available system is snapped up and built upon, but then as the rate at which the bubble is growing starts to slow, you then see tendrils extending outward toward points of interest or known tourism hotspots from the years prior to colonisation, reaching out east and west of the bubble and south toward the Witchhead sector and beyond. But particularly given recent developments on Galnet, it's the lines heading north that are truly fascinating and revealing of something that, just a couple of years ago, would have seemed utterly impossible in this game. You can see in the data a very definite and by all appearances quite efficient line of colonies leading directly north. Using the progress made so far as a model then, there are likely to be human colonies close to the borders of Sagittarius A in roughly 18 months or so. Progress towards Colonia, which is a fair distance to the southwest of Sag A, is looking like it'll reach its destination a year or so later. All of this is of course barring any intervention from Frontier or change in the rate of progress up till this point. With the current celebrations around the 10th anniversary and the hints given by Jacques, he of travelling starport fame, that something was going to happen in the region, there is some quite valid speculation that perhaps colonisation was about to be unlocked in the region, allowing commanders to begin building the superhighway from the other direction in order to meet the bubble build that is coming up to greet them. That is of course always a possibility, but I'm not sure personally that there is anything for Frontier in doing that. As things stand, the player base will get there in their own sweet time by hook or by crook, and all outward appearances would seem to indicate that, as a community, we're quite happy winding our way to our chosen distant outposts at our own rate. Either way, it's incredible to see it all, regardless of where it's headed, mapped out in front of you. What this game is able to do and what its player base are able to do in it never ceases to amaze me. Are you playing Elite via the Epic launcher using the Legacy client? Do you think colonisation is coming to Colonia, and will you be heading to see Jax to help with unpacking? Let us know in the comments below. That's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back later this week with more videos. Until then, 07 Commanders, follow the greens on the way out and do keep clear of the toast rack. We very much look forward to seeing you next time.